Hello and welcome to part 3 of our review of 2024. We have reached May, and May, as you may remember, was all about elections. And I've been looking forward to this one since we started recording these, which was like ages ago. Even though you've watched them recently, it's very confusing how this all works. The name's May. Theresa May. First thing you need to know with these top 5 is that there were 2 sets of elections. Set of elections 1 was the local elections with Sadiq Khan, and he got re-elected and all that kind of thing, and it didn't go very well for the Conservatives at all. And then set 2 was the election that was just announced in May that was going to come up in July. So bear those things in mind. We're going to go through these top 5 and then they all make sense. In at 5, the Conservatives unveiled their big idea. They said that if they won the election, they would bring back national service, which sounds like a lot, right? But in fact, it was 25 days volunteering over the year you were 18. He called it national service, and it does involve some of the army. And it really got people talking. In at 4, a very different post, Jeremy Corbyn, the former Labour leader, had already been booted out the Labour Party so that Keir Starmer could say that he's changed the Labour Party. And he announced he was going to stand as an independent against Labour in Islington North. Spoiler alert, he then won his seat in Islington North. But that's not till July, so you'll have to watch the next episode. Oh, although I've just told you now. Darn it! In at 3, more general election stuff here. Keir Starmer said he wanted votes at 16. Now, obviously, that didn't take place last election because he wasn't in power yet, and he's in power now, but it's not going to be in place for May's local elections. Register to vote now if you haven't already. They will not be voted for by 16-year-olds. If this matters so much to him, why hasn't he done it? Let's go. It's coming. In at 2, away from the general election, back to the local election, our results roundup. If you can't remember the results, don't worry. You just need to know the Conservatives lost a lot of seats. And it was one of those things where people were predicting such wildly terrible things that when they only lost 99% of their seats, everyone was like, oh, it's not too bad for Conservatives. Well done, Conservatives. That 1% still sticking around. The hardest thing about losing an election is you still have to go and do interviews. Senior Conservatives have to go into the newsroom and say, we hear what the people say. And especially because everyone knew there's a general election year. We're going to have a serious conversation with ourselves. All of that stuff. But Rishi Sunak, he saw them and he went, bring it. Let's go. We're going to have the general election, which leads us to top post of this month. You know what it's going to be. It was a very wet Rishi Sunak standing in the rain without an umbrella announcing a general election, which, I mean, it just, you know how it's going to go. Even without the benefit of hindsight that we've got, you know how that's going to go. The press conference was late because he was apparently waiting for a break in the rain, and he went out thinking that it was the beginning of a break in the rain. It wasn't. I was listening to it on the radio, and they kept on saying it was raining. But you don't really, when you're in your car, and it wasn't raining where I was, I'm driving along, I didn't really know how badly it was raining till I got home. Oh, Rishi. It doesn't rain, but it pours, eh? Let's go on to what comes after May? June! We've hit June. We've hit campaigning. We've hit wall-to-wall elections. There was nothing else happening in June. Election, 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 election. It's all happening around us. When I say it's all happening around us, it wasn't quite the election campaign I was expecting. We'd had the national service stuff. We'd had the votes at 16 stuff. So I was expecting big ideas, and both parties kind of pulled back a bit when we got to June. We had D-Day in June, and when Rishi Sunak chose to leave the D-Day commemorations to do an interview for ITV that wasn't live, that was going to go out in like 2 days' time. I don't understand. Ed Davey was kind of doing all his stunts, and we posted about them a little bit. I was on a Kiss radio podcast with GK Barry. That was an odd day in the Kiss radio studios, but none of those got to our top 5. In at 5, it isn't even election-based. There was a cyber attack on like the NHS, and that meant they really badly needed type O blood. And I'm type O blood, and I do believe in blood donation. I give blood as often as I can. And so I just put a post up saying, let's do it. If I can be part of the solution here, let's do this. And so I put it up. Lots of people liked it. Lots of people said they had booked because of it, which is a really nice thing. Do you know what? The SP family are so wonderful. If I say to you, we need to give blood, there's always people who go, yeah, right, we'll do that. Special. And then in at 4, oh my gosh, my friend Matt, he does a project called Vote for Policies. There are lots of quizzes out there to help you decide for whom you should vote. Vote for Policies is the best. It's been the best for years and years and years. And it's run by Matt, who's the best man. We posted about Vote for Policies. Everyone loved it because it's Vote for Policies. In at 3, someone got in touch and told us about the election that their child was having at school. They had to choose between, I'm going to read these, they had to choose between extra long break, juice instead of water, non-uniform, or a treat snack instead of a healthy snack. And for me, I was all treat snack. I was just, I don't understand why anyone's going for anything else here. Treat snack, that's what we want. 20 minutes break, one. That's the problem with democracy, right there. People do not get the decision right. Oh. They must just run a really good campaign on the ground, I guess. So in at 2, Barclays pulls out of sponsoring Live Nation festivals. Live Nation run lots of festivals around the country, including Download and others. And one of their principal sponsors was Barclays, and Barclays arranges loans for companies that sell arms, some of which end up in the hands of the Israeli army, where they are then used on the people of Gaza. So there was a big campaign saying Barclays shouldn't be doing it. Some people were pulling out of festivals, and it became untenable. So Barclays pulled out. And when I posted that, I was on the way to a hustings event that I was organising here in Whitstable, and someone DM'd me from Barclays saying, I think your post's quite unfair. We were asked to pull out. We didn't take the decision to, we were asked to, and then we did pull out. And it was also the hatred that we are faced, that the tellers and our bank clerks, the people, I don't know what they call them, the people behind the glass. There's no glass anymore, is there? We're all so friendly. Except we're not, because the abuse that people who work for Barclays, who have nothing to do with this stuff, get is awful. I had a really good conversation with her while I'm typing along while walking about abuse in politics and about what's constructive and what's not. It felt like it was everywhere. Abuse and violence and not very niceness. And in at 1 was our policy comparison on Gaza. We did about 15 policy comparisons with different parties, and it was really tricky because there's so many parties that we wanted to involve, so it went over lots of pages, but most of them people didn't care that much about, but Gaza, people were really interested to hear what the party was saying about Gaza. And just like that, June's done. And June was done a while ago, but this talking about June is done. If you hang about for the next episode, I'm going to tell you who won the election. Oh yeah. That's worth hearing. I'll see you next time. Love you, bye.